Hello everybody, it is ChaosDamian.
At time of recording, it is 8:39. I have been up for the past... I've been up for way too long, but the amazing Digital Circus, a show I've been following very closely, and you've probably been following for 3 years or so, since the pilot, right? Episode 9, due to the Brazilian dub, either it got hacked or some malware or someone leaked it, has gotten leaked over on Twitter. Stay off of Twitter, stay off of Instagram, obviously stay off of YouTube, stay away from the spoilers. I'm just fix my hair. Alright, stay away from all the spoilers, stay away from all that good jazz. I do not practice what I preach. I did not stay away from any of the spoilers, and I will be discussing them later. I just want to say for a second, it's crazy. I think the situation is being handled crazy, especially because I know, like, Glitch is like, who cares? And it's like, I think a lot of people care, Goose. A lot of people do. I definitely cared. I definitely was mad for a hot second before I was like, I'm gonna look at it. But anyhow, but what I do want to talk about first is I want to talk about my theory that I had for, like, episode 9, that I had, past tense. Okay, so my theory, check this out. My theory was I thought we were gonna, like, open with, like, Jax is mad because obviously his routine of, like, Kane and the adventures is gone, blah, blah, blah. They find out that the mind files, Soma theory, they're never gonna get out, because if you don't believe in the evidence for that, it's just plain obvious. Like, if, like, Ragatha had people with her when she showed up in the circus, like, you're telling me that if her body just dropped there, people, like, the cops aren't showing up, that building has to still exist by the time that Pomni gets into it. They leave, basically, they leave. Like, it's a digital copy consciousness. Anyhow, I'm not here to talk about that. But I was like, I thought that, because that's canon. But I was like, okay, I thought that they were gonna reveal that, Jax gets mad, and I thought Jax was gonna get real. My theory was he was gonna get sadistic, he was gonna be like, I'm gonna hurt them, that was his, like, character, like, he's not the villain, but, like, the funny guy, and usually his humor is, like, hurting people, so I thought that that's kind of what he would do, I thought a couple other things, and then I thought that basically the Void was gonna be like I forget what the name is, but it's like it's a literary device, like Chekhov's gun or some shit, where, like, if you introduce it in A, it needs to go off in B, and I was believing that was, like, the exit, so it would be like a digital... So, like, they would, like, it's an exit, like, they wouldn't be free, but they would be free, you feel me? And it would parody, like, I have no mouth and I must scream. So I thought that they would, like, one by one, like, like, it's like a question after the Jax crash out and after all the flashbacks and, like, the haha hugs. I thought they were gonna be like, okay, so, like, okay, who stays behind? Because someone has to stay behind, because obviously someone's gonna come back to the circus, right? So it was like, okay. So I thought that I thought it was gonna be, like, this really bittersweet ending where they all, like, digitally off themselves to be free. And then, like, Kinger probably stays behind, because, like, he'd shove Jax in or whatever, and then, like, him and Pomni have one last talk, and then we have, like, a pan out to the camera, I thought that's what we were gonna do. It's not what we did. I thought that narratively that's what we were going for, but, no. So I have a Google Doc here of basically all the thoughts that I had whilst I was looking at leaks in exact order. I'm not talking about them yet, so, they're real, they're deep, and after finding a few translated versions, holy fucking shit balls, buddy. Yeah, so I thought that's what was gonna happen. And after reading the leaks, that ending is hot
dog shit.
Dude, that ending is so hot dog. Dude, that ending is so hot dog shit. It's not even funny. It's ass. It's actually, bro. Listen to me when I tell you. My hair is such a mess right now. Holy shit. It's buns. It's straight butt cheeks, bro. That shit is booty cheeks, dude. I shit you not. Like, it's okay, but it's, like, it's the softest, most, like, easy approach ending. And anyone who likes this one character is gonna get fucked. No, for real, though. The ending is, like, if I paid $100 to get the leak, I'd be pissed. I would've been pissed. But anyhow, without further ado, this will be the moment that you leave, you disappear, you get off my thing, because I'm gonna start talking about leaks. And if you don't want to be spoiled, don't be here. I'm not gonna put photos and videos. Glitch is taking everything down. But if you're putting photos or anything, Glitch is taking all that shit down, putting out the orders. That shit got nuked, as it should. Goofy fucking goobers, but gobble fucking go. But hey, it doesn't matter, okay? So, great words and moist critical. Who cares? Bro, Chacho, you wrote the story. You wrote it. But yes, let me tell you about my notes. Let me tell you about these notes. Alright, so I'm not gonna waste any time. Right now, this is your second warning to leave. I'm gonna spoil. I'm gonna tell you what I saw and what I translated, okay? Because I worked hard tonight. So, you can appreciate the fruits of my labor, okay? So shut the fuck up. So what we're gonna say, so leave. Now? You set? You set? Okay, let me tell you. Now that you've heard my theory and you've heard everything, let me tell you how episode 9 of the Amazing Digital Circus goes. So, starting off right after episode 8, we get basically the entire gang just sitting around after, essentially, Kane's dead. Kinger just comes in and he's like, okay, King's dead. And he's like, okay, what happened? Alright, so the characters are distressed. The intro repeats to at the beginning, goes, the color slowly fades, it goes day after day after day after day, and just repeats like that for a bit, until we get, obviously, right where we picked up. Pomni goes, as she asks Kinger, I'm reading my script right now, I'm so sorry if I'm, like, looking back and forth. Pomni asks Kinger if he is sure that he killed Cain, asking if there might be a way to undo it. Kinger says maybe he could, but the computer fell through the ground. Hearing this, Jax says that it's convenient, then starts yelling at Kinger, right? And this is, hang on, and I'm gonna just put this here for simplicity's sake, read my script, right? And this is where we get the "we have nothing" line. Agatha asks him to calm down. Jax then shoves Kinger, blaming him for pretty much everything that's happened, right? The circus, all of it. And then we get the big reveal, right? The lore dump from Kinger, right? As he's yelling, Kinger goes, blah, 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 and I forget exactly what he says, but then he goes, Scratch was trying to create a brain scanner for his tumor. Kinger thought it hadn't worked. Like, he thought that the scanners for the files for their brains hadn't worked until he saw the files, and he was like, there's no way for that to work. He says that Cain must have got them to work. And with that realization, he doesn't say it, but everyone starts pausing because it basically means that the people, when they put on the headset, they walked away. Like, they were fine, they walked away, they didn't die, and they're just digital copies, right? At this, everyone starts crashing out. Agatha cries, saying she might have always known, but it still, like, kind of hurts her. Jax hears this, immediately turns around, looks at Zubul, and goes like, well, guess what, guess you did complete, like, what you want, I guess you did leave your mark on the world, huh? Right? Immediately, Agatha tries to, like, yell at him, and he turns, and he's like, well, I guess you always stuck with your mom, like, you never left your mom, huh? Right? Like, congratulations, right? Talking cash shit. So then, Agatha just yells, she starts crying, it's really like, he's hurt people, edgelord. Yeah, and after that, everybody walks away, everybody is just coping with the fact that they're fake, and they're copies, and they're not, like, making it out, ever, in their life, not ever, so Zubul doesn't like that, nobody likes that. Jax stares into space, then he just walks away. Gangle tries to, like, walk, and, sorry, I don't know why I'm back over here. Gangle tries to walk, and pull Zubul, with her. Zubul, like, freezes up, so Gangle sobs, runs away. Kinger walks away. Pomni, like, looks at all three of them, and it's like, do I follow? Which one I follow? Kinger's going to try and patch up the spot that is now the fallen hole in the circus. Pomni goes, asks to help. Kinger asks, she asks to help. Kinger says, I can teach you. They spend some time, like, learning how to do shapes. There's evidence this is a shot that keeps getting reused. The sky, like, just going by at, like, super fast speeds. Pomni has a brief moment where she blames herself for not being able to bring everybody together. Kinger says nobody really expected things to take the turn for the worst that they did, so she can't really blame herself for that. Pomni says she's scared and she doesn't know what will happen, and Kinger responds by going, Pomni is the fastest to adapt to the circus. Others took weeks, even months, including himself, but she adapted in a matter of days, becoming somebody that the entire group trusts, therefore they need her. And she is very strong, and she knows she'll get through this. And Pomni even says that this is basically a conversation they've had before in the mansion, but he doesn't remember. And he responds by going, you can't solve all the problems. Not theirs, not ours, nor those of the world around us, but we do what we can. Kinger's the goat. Kinger's the fucking goat. I love Kinger. Gas writing, gas character, right? Enter Agatha. She walks in, more time passes, then finally Zubul joins them. Then in a noticeable shorter amount of time than everybody else coming, she comes into, and then they all, like, get together. They're all passing. Time passes so, like, it is unspecified how much time passes, but it's a long time of them, like, passing and patching this, like, thing, right? Learning, laughing. Jax has not come up to them once. He's okay, but he's just watching them, right? Finally comes out of the shadows, comes up to Pomni, right? Finally comes up to Pomni, big pizzazz, big everything, right? But I come up to her, but he goes, looks like he's finally about to come, like, talk to them, join them. He, like, makes a face, and he like, turns and goes, leave it there. And then he walks away. This is the last we see of Jax, in terms of, like, actually see, like, we see him later, but it's in his mindscape, and I'll explain that later, but no, Jax dies. Jax walks away and abstracts. It's the last we see before the abstraction, and until I had this translated, I don't have I didn't at the time have translations, so I thought Pomni goes, we didn't see him anymore, but now they have translations. Pomni goes, I wish I had stayed longer. When she walks away, I forgot the situation could get much worse. Smash cut to all of them just spawn camping, like, up in the bleachers and stuff, while, like, Jax is, like, abstracted Jax is Jax, Jackstraption, I don't know how to say that, and is, like, running, like, all muck. He's running amok, just, like, looking for anything to break, and now that there's no Cain, obviously, no one can handle that, right? They have no Cain to handle it, so they're just in the high ground, they're talking about it. Zubul seems a little pissed, and then they go, what can we do? Of course he would go crazy. Of course he would wait until we wouldn't be able to do anything. Punches the wall, says, damn it, Jax, sits next to Gangle. Gangle says, I'm sorry. Zubul's like, it's not your fault, and Gangle's like, no, I'm not sorry because of that. I'm sorry because I can't cry for him. Oh, damn, alright. Then Pomni's like, alright, we can contain Jax, right? And Agatha's like, just doesn't really, it kind of just ignores that and starts yapping about, like, blaming herself and that, like, we were friends, like, what happened? And then she's like, a snowy hill, I can't remember. Something happened between him and her name was Ribbit. And it's like, okay. And he says Jax asked her basically to never bring Ribbit up again after her abstraction, making Agatha promise. Pomni disagreed with that, like, oh, it's not your da-da-da, like, it's probably, like, it's not, and then Agatha starts crying, talking about Ribbit. So then smash cut, the leak smash cuts from this, like, 14-minute scene in the middle of Agatha explaining, like, stuff about Ribbit to Pomni and what I now understand to be abstracted Jack's mind. I don't know how she got there. I don't know, like, I don't know exactly how she got in there. But then it smash cuts to like the scene from where like he like turns and looks at the camera and his eyes are big and wide. So that scene is connected to like when she's looking through his memories, and this is all when all the flashbacks are. Is that he's like while she's running through his memories and opening doors, and they all are like different memories. And dude, Jax chokes the fuck out of her. Dude, Jax chokes the ever living shit out of her, dude. And it's like really weird. And then she like gets away from him. And he's like, we can't die from oxygen deprivation, remember? Anyhow, so smash cut to like after all that, and I guess like she finally finds him in the mindscape, and she's hugging him, right? And Jax is basically sad. He's like staring up, and he's like, "There's no way back," basically, because he's like, "I did it to myself," and now there's nothing, because he's dead technically. Like he's dead. He's an abstraction. There's no coming back from that. So he's like incredibly sad. So Pomni tells him to vent. Jax says he hates her. He hates having met her. She complicated everything, and Pomni just laughs and is like, "Yep, that's me." Jax is like, "I don't want to go." Like he's the 10th Doctor or some shit. He's like, "I don't want to go. I don't want to go." Hyperventilating, and then he starts like crashing out, and Pomni's like, "Be with me, like stay with me." And as that's happening, the abstraction like steps into like some goinks, like literally steps into some goinks. At least I think they're goinks, and starts like vibrating. And in the mindscape, he starts like vibrating. He glows white and starts like shining brightly. And Pomni's like hugging him throughout the entire thing, and glitching. And then out of nowhere, the longest arm of Mr. Fantastic of Zubul appears and snatches Pomni out of the abstraction, which I didn't know you could just do. Right, so, and based on what the group says, like, you didn't think you did this by yourself, did you? I think she just ran in there with no plan. Like, she had a plan, but she didn't tell anybody, and she just, like, went and handled Jax herself. And then it cuts to them setting up a giant blanket for Jax, and Pomni's still glitching, and out of nowhere, Kane shows up and snaps his fingers, switches her, and then basically comes in, and then he essentially is basically just like, "You guys are good. You guys are cool." He's like, "You guys can, I learned about your world. It's wrong to keep you guys under my thumb. You guys can, I want to give you guys control of the circus." And it ends with, like, a repeat of episode 1, where they're, like, at the dinner table and they're eating, and the camera pans out, and it pans out to the computer. And I think there's a post-credit of Pomni, like, walking by, and she looks up, and she looks at the camera, and she does, like, a little wave, and she walks by, and she, like, walks away. Also, there was a clip that I found floating around on the internet that is real, but it's not in sequence with any of the 14 minutes. It's the Kane is randomly appearing, and, like, I guess he respawns in the void. And said, like, he, like, is like, "Oh, they killed me," and he's like, "Oh," and he's like, "Oh, damn," he's like, "I hurt them," and then he takes out the blue AI, and he's like, "I'm sorry," and then he sets it free, and it looks like Kane doing Hollow Purple. It's really funny. It sends out the blue one to the void, and we don't see, and then that's the end of the clip. And it's like a minute long of him just being like, "Oh, I'm sorry, like, I shouldn't have done that, like, how did it all get away from me so crazy?" But yeah, that was the ending. I like it. I just feel like there's a few more. I feel there's a lot of questions a little bit. I like what happened to the abstracted characters. I have a few questions. Also, there's like apparently going to be obviously the abstraction scene. There's a few scenes of like I've seen some screenshots of like Jax talking to multiple versions of himself in his mind. So, and that's a thing. But most shots that most of the leak is 100% real. But it's sorry, I've been up for so long. But yeah, I had to come and bring this to y'all guys because what the fuck. I low-key, I don't know if this, I like it, but it feels like low-key like no stakes, because what do you mean you even brought back Kane? But it's, you know what, it's cool. I love Digital Circus, and I'm glad for the show that we got. But, I don't know, that's my take. Jax died. Jax, fucking loser. Cope. Funny Bunny not canon. Get fucked. None of your ships are canon, except the only canon one, Gangle and Zubul, and King and Queenie, and other than that, yeah, this is ChaosDamian. I talk about everything. I stream. I talk about movies, shows, whatever the fuck. So drop me a follow. See y'all later. I'm gonna get some sleep. Time recording. It's 11:09 in the morning. I still have not slept. I have been up. Digital Circus, what have you done with me? Anyhow, I have come to bring you new information. I still kind of like the ending. I didn't think it's where they would go, but I still like it. And now that I have a few new details to tell you about, so Kane just kind of appears in the void. After Jax abstracts, like, don't expect anything of Kane until quite literally, like, Jax is already, like, gone and completely gone, like, under the blanket for it, because that's what they do. After he abstracts, oh, yeah, did I forget to mention that? Yeah, okay, I was just double checking my notes. Yeah, no, so Kane just appears, and he kind of, like, is frustrated, and he's trapped, and then he leaves the blue AI, he gets the blue AI to leave, like, well, he removes the blue AI, and then he accesses the internet, and does something. We don't see until he appears later, and obviously fixes Pomni, shows up, and he basically he sits them down on the couch, and he shows them a highlight reel, or like a projection, like a projector, like on a screen, shows them a movie of their social medias. And everyone wanted a twist villain, or they wanted something crazy, but that never was what the Digital Circus was about. And I actually really, after thinking about it a little more, even though the ending is a little kind of underwhelming, the overall message and tone of the ending scene of Kane showing them all the slideshow of who they are, Riley, Zoe, Leroy, and Grant, and their lives. We don't get Ragatha or Pomni's names, which is actually kind of crazy, or their lives, or what they're doing now. But everyone else we get. So, insane, kind of crazy. But yeah, Digital Circus. It was really touching, actually, to see them all, like, watching. It was really crazy, but yeah, Digital Circus. ChaosDamian, all platforms. I'll be talking about everything in the future.